And welcome to Women of Influence podcast. Hi, I'm Jaylen with the J Group Real Estate Team.
The Great American Speak Off.
One of my favorites.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Wednesday. It's another episode of Women of Influence podcast. Today, I'm so excited. I have with me the lovely Lauren Osina. Welcome, Lauren.
Thanks, Jaylen. Happy to be here. Hi, everyone.
Hello. Thanks for coming on. So everyone, Lauren is the Corporate Communications and Marketing Manager at Malco Products, Inc. out of Akron, Ohio. She is part of a generation of leadership at the family business, enjoys working alongside her dad and brother. Now, Lauren, I know just a few years ago, Malco Products transitioned leadership over to you and your brother, Seth, marking the fourth generation of family leadership. Can you share insights into how this transition has influenced the company's direction and any challenges you've encountered during this period?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I would say that my dad was very intentional in his transition. And really, he has a quote that he loves to say, which is, success without succession is failure. And he was very mindful and intentional in his succession planning. So he really put a lot of thought and energy into what it would look like to transition Malco Products to the next generation, which was my brother and I. And there was a lot of discussion. He worked with a coach. We had a lot of discussions together on that. And it was so well planned out, so well thought out. He ended up, the end of his tenure kind of leading the company was December of 2019. And the beginning of our tenure was January of 2020. So you can, for anyone who's been under a rock, January of 2020 kind of led right into COVID and shut down. So it didn't matter how much planning he had, or I guess maybe it did, because that's what allowed the transition to happen. But that, all of that planning and everything that our business had known and we worked with was just turned upside down.
Yeah, COVID, what's that?
Yeah, right.
That's awesome. So that sounds like just, first and foremost, a major transition. Is it one that you were looking forward to? Was it one that you were expecting?
In terms of like the transition from my dad's leadership down to ours?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I would say this just so everyone knows, when it was very clear for our transition planning that my brother, he had expressed interest and knew exactly what he wanted from this transition. And he was transitioned as the president and CEO. And I also knew what I wanted, which was to come in on like the marketing side and corporate communications, HR side, employee engagement side. So there was a lot of discussion on what role we would each play within the transition and, how we executed that. So
that's awesome. I just have to ask, how well do you play in the sandbox with your brother?
Yeah. So I think we play really well. And I actually was just talking to my partner last night about this because he was asking a little bit about a hire that we have and, that my brother has my brother's name is Seth Glauberman. He's our president and CEO of Malco. And Seth was kind of taking the lead on hiring a director that we have an open spot for at Malco. And I said to him, I didn't want and I still don't necessarily want the pressure and the work of running Malco. I have my own obligation to Malco when it comes to, marketing, employee engagement, being there for our employees, our team, everything else. But I didn't necessarily want to take on everything else that comes along with running a business. And he did. And that worked really well for us because I know where my strengths are. And that really is on that marketing side, the employee engagement, the employee welfare, really meeting our customers and the creative and kind of that feel good. And he really is a data guy and he's a contract guy and he, likes the management side of that.
Wow, that is so cool that what you guys are doing respectively, it just really works with one another. You're like the fun, creative side of things, and he's more of the analytical, hey, let's get shit done, right?
Yeah, and believe
Pardon my
me,
French.
right. Believe me, it isn't like always playing well in the sandbox, as you can imagine. There's liberties you take with siblings that you wouldn't take with employees. I think the best example of that is I called him um, a month or so ago, and I was like, shoot, my grocery order was sent to Malco instead of my home. And he's like, I just left. And I said, well, go back and get it. So, I would never ask an employee to do that.
Oh, that's
Um,
hilarious.
Yes, but then there's also, and there's also where we can challenge each other in a way, and also hard not to bring work home. We're family business. We're both in the family, and sometimes drawing that boundary in line can be tough for the rest of our family.
Oh, I can imagine. Well, I did a little bit of stalking before we came on the interview today. And I went into the website, Malco Products, and I was like, my first thought was, oh my gosh, you guys are just adorable. And I love your dad. And he just seems like such a nice guy. I mean, he seems that way on the website. I'm sure he's that way in real life too, right?
Yeah, he is. He's a really great dad, and he was a really great. He's very intentional and thoughtful, as I kind of shared earlier, and was. I will say that it was difficult for him to figure out his place once
Mm.
he did transition. It was that he was so used to running a business and being so influential within the business. And then he was really needed during COVID. And now we're making a lot of changes in our business. We're actually kind of have a new look and some different branding activities that we have coming up. And I think that was really difficult for him. And so navigating that while wanting to support us and being a dad and then seeing kind of his life's legacy change, I think has been a challenge for everyone. And, also opened up opportunities for family growth.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can all imagine, right? Just, your dad starting this company in 1953, right? And this is his baby, and he's having to let go of some of the things that he's always had control over, right? So I can imagine that would be a bit challenging for him to be like, okay, but go ahead, I love you, but
Yeah, I think we're like finally at that point where he is like, okay, I like being able to step away a little bit. I still want to be involved on projects, as I'm helpful and needed, but not have the workload, the pressure. He had that for over 50 years. So
I love that. Well, I know I went right into your role at Malco. We haven't
Mhm.
really talked about like who Malco is. Can you give our audience just a broad overview of like, what is Malco?
Yeah, right. So Malco happens to be a very popular business name, we have learned, but our Malco, Malco Products Inc., we are a specialty chemical manufacturing company. So we're based out of Northeast Ohio, and we make and manufacture and produce specialty chemical products for the automotive industry and the household industrial industry, as well as oil additives. And we're USA based out of Northeast Ohio. We have about 300 employees and 3 different manufacturing facilities. And so my focus is really on our automotive line and our so professional, think anything and everything. We have a really large breadth of line for automotive car care, detailing products, car soaps, etc.
Okay. If you want to get your exterior and your interior nice and clean and shiny, check out Malco. Here, I'll give you a little
Yeah.
plug there.
Yeah, please do. And for all those moms out there, if your car looks like mine, we have a lot of great products that can help clean up those vehicles. But I know, I'm always telling my kids, don't eat in here, don't leave that in here. And I'm really glad I have Malco in my back pocket to be able to help me clean up my car.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I've got 3 of my own, and like,
Okay.
trust me, I've had like every type of stain and spill and stain in the back of my car. It's like, it's not been pretty.
Right. We got something for you.
Uh, awesome. Well, I will send everybody to your website when we're done here. And I like outside of just being awesome individuals and offering awesome products for, I know that you specialize in the industrial line, or sorry, the automotive line of things, but Malco is also committed to philanthropy. On the website, it was emphasized that Malco's dedication to giving back to the community, stating, it feels good to do good. Can you elaborate on some of the key philanthropic initiatives Malco has undertaken recently and the impact they've had on both the community and the company?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. So some of the big initiatives, we run a United Way campaign here at Malco, and actually corporately, and our family's decision was to match dollar for dollar any pledge that an employee gives, we match that dollar for dollar. So for our employees, that's a really great opportunity to, increase their pledge and give back in a meaningful way. If you did, $1 a paycheck, then, we can double that for them and feel really good about the contribution that we give back. We also, we talk a lot about how you can give. There's the time, treasure, talent. So you can give with your time and volunteering. You can give with your treasure in $1, and you can give with your talent, your voice, and being able to kind of be an advocate on behalf of sharing, and welfare. And we really offer that for all of our employees. So in whatever way fits them best to be able to give, and that could change throughout their tenure at Malco and, any given time. So we offer a lot of volunteer opportunities. And then we also corporately give back in ways that, we're specialty chemical. We, a newer initiative of ours, Project Rise, they're actually a federal program through the Akron Public Schools, and they're in many of the public schools. And they are the liaison to the homeless students at the schools. Their grant can really only be for school educated initiatives. And what they're working on is like placement and homeless placement, temporary housing, et cetera. So what Malco's able to do is come in and we give the families cleaning kits for their homes. So they're able to, move into this new housing. They can't use any of their money for cleaning up the home and taking care of it's like everyday care. And we're able to offer that for them. So we love to, as kind of employees, we'll come together, we'll make these kits, we'll deliver them to the Akron Public Schools and the community and be able to give back in that way.
That is just fabulous. I thank you so much for sharing that. I love hearing that so much. So this leads me right into my next question. With your philanthropic endeavors, with matching with your employees, and that's just fantastic. I know that you also have a role in mentorship with other women. They're not only in the company, but outside of that. Do you want to touch on that a little bit, Lauren?
Yeah, I'd love to share with you a little bit about that. So one, I'm one of the owners, one of the directors here at Malco, and, obviously I'm a female, and I love to be able to give, mentorship to not only my direct reports here, which I work with very closely and, work as a mentor, but also just the other females in our company as well. So, if there's one thing that I have noticed, it seems to be that there is a lot of internal pressure on females to be able to be everything to everyone. And I've worked a lot with my team to share with them, the first and foremost that, you have to have an environment of, kindness, of making sure that people feel heard and taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
I think if there's anything that I can do for my team and the employees at Malco, it's that they feel like they're taken care of. And I really do want to take care of them. I want to listen to them. I want to help them, grow within Malco. And when I say taking care of, it's, I'm going to challenge them as their boss. It's like a parent, you're going to challenge them. You have to make sure that you're teaching, the people that you work with for growth and, what you need to do for growth, but as well, making sure that they're heard and that I'm there to help navigate and get, work with them throughout our organization and kind of beyond. So that's one thing. The other thing that I've always done, and I feel really strongly about, and I've shared this with my employees as well, is I've always had my own mentor. I've made sure that I found women of influence or women who just seem to click with me that, I can work well with, that I can learn from. We can always learn from people, and that's so important. Right now, we actually ended up hiring her to help us in our business, but I always have a mentor. I wanted to learn a little bit more about digital marketing. So I found a digital marketing mentor that I started to work with, a communications coach who I've worked with, and plug to Tiffany Jameson and Leslie Unger, and two amazing women who have really helped me with a lot of growth.
I love that so much. So I want to touch on something you said earlier about, taking care of your employees, making sure that they feel heard, that they feel cared for and loved on. And I think that's such a key critical aspect in, you know, not only maintaining or building those relationships, but maintaining them. And also in terms of employee retention, the worst thing I can imagine is going into work every day and feeling like, number one, your boss doesn't hear you. Then number two, maybe they don't show you that they care about what you have to say. And I'm like, I just love so much that you do that. So thank you, Lauren.
Well, yeah, I mean, I try.
I know nobody's perfect,
Right.
right? I'm sure we all get a little bit of the cranky pants from time to time.
Right. Yeah.
But, and I also love that you're showing your employees and your people that you work with and people that you hang out with, not only are you showing that you are a good mentor, but showing that you yourself have utilized a lot of mentors and how critically important that is as well.
Yeah, I just to share a great example with you that I think about a lot. I was interviewing a potential marketing intern earlier this year, and I asked her, what are some things that she might be nervous about with coming into the company, or just in her own career. And she said that not knowing everything, or disappointing, or not knowing what to say when she's in certain situations. And I said to her, that's very real. And I appreciate her sharing, that with me, that authentic feeling, and that I have that too, so she's worried about not doing a good job for me. And I'm worried about not being a good mentor or boss to her. So I just wanted her to know that, that's just humanity, that just shows like that we care.
Oh my gosh. And I think a lot of that too is just having the willingness to be open and vulnerable with that person, make sure they understand that they are in a safe space with you.
Yes.
Yeah. And sometimes that's just, let's be honest, that's just flat out scary sometimes to be able to open up and be vulnerable, right?
Right. It is. No, it definitely is. And then also to own, like I said, I'm not perfect. I mean, there were a few days I can think of this past couple of months, like one in particular where I was just, I did not have a smile on my face. It was not my day. And I could tell my energy brought everyone down. And, I came home with that. I didn't like that. And the next day I came in and I have, my thing is I have lottery tickets, and I gave everyone a lottery ticket. And I was, sorry for bringing it down and being grumpy, hopefully you get a win today, or just something. I just wanted to own it. I wanted to share with everyone, like, hey, we all have to recognize that we aren't always going to be happy and have a smile on our face, and that our mood's going to affect the rest of this organization, just like it might your own family or kind of wherever you're at in your environment. And that's okay. And it's also okay to be like, man, sorry, let's start over. Apologies.
Yeah, I love that. Sometimes you have to think outside the box too, and not necessarily just bring donuts. That's probably, what most guys would do. But yeah, that's so cute. The Lord, did anyone win on their lottery ticket?
A few people won $3. So I was like, all right.
Wow,
Yeah.
big win.
Right.
That's cool. I want to come work for you, Lauren. You just sound super cool.
I don't know about that, but I do know that I I want to own my own behavior and be proud of my own behavior and set an example for my, corporation. I once heard a quote that said, if you own your own business, 100% of the problems are your fault. And it's true, for me to say, oh, I own this business with my brother, and I might not be the one who made a wrong batch of chemicals. However, I'm the one who really has to work to fix it, for our whole company to come together to do it. And I believe that.
Oh my gosh. When you just said mixing the wrong chemicals together, I just had this image in my mind. I'm like a lab experiment and all these test tubes exploding. Like, oh my gosh, can you tell me? I'm curious now. What's something that maybe happened that was a little bit crazy or scary within the Malco organization?
Gosh, so we're very focused on quality, so it doesn't happen very often. We have very robust quality and regulatory procedures in place here at Malco. So I just want to put that out there.
Of course.
That being said, things still happen. Actually, one thing that has come out, we had so we have something called compounds, and that's and aggressive material for scratches in paint and vehicles.
Mm.
And we went to make a compound and we batched it incorrectly, and it happened to come out more aggressive than we had wanted and blue. And it wasn't something we could sell. It was a mistake that we had made. But then from that, it was some employees of ours just kind of started to play with it and test it. And they were like, this is really good. We could make this and sell this. And now we're trying to figure out, like, what was the mistake? How do we recreate it and get it to
Wow.
market? Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? A mistake turned out to be like a cool new product, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So
I love that so much. It's kind of like, what do they say? Taking lemons and making lemonade.
yep, exactly. So, and
Just
believe
like,
me, there have been mistakes that have had to go down the drain. So it doesn't
oh.
always become lemonade.
Well, I hope that you guys figure out the mistake that you made initially so you can like make lots of money off the new
Right. Me
product.
too. Me too.
So on that note, what is new on the horizon for Malco Products?
Yeah. All right. Well, so actually, Malco, we have been around since 1953. We're over 70 years old and in this automotive car care chemical space. And we have had a few different marketing changes and rebranding and logos over the years. But for the past 20 years, we've really looked the same. And this March, we are showing a new look and a new face. So we have a brand new
Ooh.
automotive line coming out in new sizes and packaging with a new look. So it's the same great product. It's the quality that everyone has really trusted. It's a great professional product, but we've just kind of upped our game on our marketing and our look to be able to kind of go out strong and, stand behind it. And we're really excited about it.
Oh, I'm excited for you, Lauren.
Yeah, so towards the end of March, you'll see if you go to our website now and then you visit again later, it's going to look very different. I don't know when this is going to air, but soon everyone's going to be able to see the new look of Malco. And really, we're just starting to make another big push into sharing who we are. We have been a really amazing manufacturing operational efficiency company for a really long time. And we've kind of rested our laurels on that. And now we're starting to realize that we need to also put a lot more marketing behind who we are and what we do and sharing and telling our story. And I would say that my dad, that was one thing he was like a little more humble with. And I think one thing that we talked about change, and I'm trying to kind of educate him on, it's okay to share your story. It doesn't make you more or less humble. It's just, puts you out there in a vulnerable way or in a better way to help people too. We have a lot of great product that we might be able to help people with and reach and have. So that's a big initiative that I have and that our company is working on right now.
I love that so much. Well, if I am ever in Ohio, I would love to come meet you guys in person. Like I said earlier, you guys look adorable. You seem adorable. And you're just so nice. I just love you already.
Oh, thanks. You too. I could tell you have great, nice energy also. And we would love to give you a tour of Malco. We'll get you some safety glasses and take you around. We can detail a car with you. And yeah.
That's awesome. Lauren, how do people find your products? What is the website address, the URL?
Yeah, so it's malcoautomotive.com, MALCO automotive.com. And we're on social media at Malco Automotive. You can find us there. And we sell through distributorship as well. So if you're in the professional setting and you're looking to find our products kind of in bulk or maybe just in like better pricing or have a relationship with some more training or different things, you can reach us on our website and we can help, source a distributor for you. And yeah, we're in 70 countries. We're global and sell throughout all of the US and Canada.
All right, you guys, you heard it straight from Miss Lauren, 4th generation at Malco. And so I hope that a lot of people listen to this podcast and you get a lot of orders from this. That would be absolutely amazing. But Lauren, is there anything that you would like to leave our audience with before we conclude?
I would just say, and just talking on the topic of women and influence, that putting yourself out there and sharing your story and it's having a voice and, just like talking to other women and being open and honest and it can just help you and it will help them. And I just think that we do a lot of really great things within our corporations, within our communities for our own families. And we need like women around us to help us to get it all done. It's a lot, And so, find your women, find your influence, your mentor, and be one yourself. And don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
Amen, sister. We all need to share our stories, and we are all part of the sisterhood tribe. So,
yeah. And I just cannot stress this enough, but, a positive attitude and how important that is in your work environment, in your home environment. And that's, you have so little control over everything in your life, but that's something you can control.
Absolutely. You can't necessarily control the things that happen to you, but you can control your reaction 100%.
Yeah.
At least I try. maybe 90%.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lauren. It's been such a pleasure having you today.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.